Welcome, basketball fans, to Game 9 of the National Junior College Athletic Association National Basketball Tournament. The starting lineups for tonight's game. On the scoreboard and the visitors, the Region 24 champs, Danville Area Community College. A 6'2" sophomore, number 23, Oscar Sanders. A 6'1" sophomore, number 24, Pat PACHIARZ. At forward, a 6'5" freshman, number 34, VIRGIL AKERS. .6'5" freshman, number 44, Ryan Petty. And the man in the middle, 6'7" sophomore, number 52, Eric SOWDER. And now, representing Region 10, the Knights of Aiken. Starting at guard, a 6'1" freshman, number 14, Calvin Jefferson. A 6'3" sophomore, number 20, Derek Brody. 6'2" sophomore, number 23, QB Scott. At forward, a 6'4" freshman, number 31, Terrence Callahan. And in the pivot, 6'7" freshman, number 43, Shannon Martin.
And our thanks to Gary Spezia, the public address announcer here at the Mary Miller Gymnasium. Scott Eisenhower and Bob Kay along with you. And Bob, if nothing else, we've seen one of the more unusual dressing for a collegiate basketball game. A young man in a skirt and high socks. Couple of guys with their faces painted. They're throwing candy into the stands, and it is a good atmosphere for collegiate basketball.
I think there are two guys over there in skirts. The one in the green and white definitely is a skirt. The black skirt, I don't know, it might be something turned down or around, but they got the crowd fired up for the DACC crowd, no doubt about that.
As we mentioned, Danville in their travel in gold, Aiken Tech in their home white uniforms. We are set, the players are set in the center circle. It'll be SOWDER and Martin. The officials check to make sure that they too are ready for the action. We've got a pretty good packed house on hand. The ball is in the air and the fourth quarter final is underway, and in the backcourt the Knights are going to come away with it. Scott with the basketball will give it up to Jefferson. Jefferson across the midcourt stripe, off to the left-hand side. Works the ball into the hands of Brody. Brody up top to Scott. Scott to the right-hand side, Callahan. Callahan on the drive, down low, works it inside to Martin, and the ball is knocked loose. And it'll belong to the Knights underneath their own castle. With 19:41 left to go here in the first half.
Pat PACHIARZ thought he might have picked up a foul from behind, but in actuality, he got a good block from behind, knocked it out of bounds, and saved a basket and a foul.
Scott is going to inbound all the way up top to Brody. Brody for the Knights with the ball on the right-hand side, gives to the left. Callahan with a three, good! Terrence Callahan with a three, and the lid is off the Knight bucket. Sanders into the forecourt for Danville area. Sanders to the left-hand side. Works the ball to Petty. Petty on the cross-court feed, gives to Sanders. Sanders around the perimeter for Danville area. Works it in the middle to Petty. Petty on the bounce pass down low, and it's going to be stripped away by Brody for Aiken Tech. Brody will give the ball up the floor to Jefferson. Jefferson across the timeline to the right-hand side. Brody. Brody over deep into the corner to Callahan. Callahan up top, three on the way. Good by QB Scott. Boy, if you want to cry at a home crowd, Bob K., that's how you do it, by knocking down a couple of trifectas.
2 3-pointers right in the first minute and 7 seconds, and both times he was wide open. John Spazio won't like that.
And a turnover by DACC, their third of the ball game. Up the floor with the basketball. They work down low. Callahan on the baseline drive. Feeds in the middle to Brody. Brody trying to fight his way out of the pile, and a foul is going to be called, and that's going to be on Sowder. It'll be his first in the first against Danville area.
Well, you'd hate to use a 30-second timeout this early, but Danville's been a little out of sync. They've had a couple of reaching in. They've had 3 turnovers. You might want to calm them down just a bit.
On the inbound, the ball is going to be stolen away by Danville area. They work to PACHIARZ, 2-on-1. PACHIARZ from the free throw line shoots and scores. PACHIARZ with the first Danville area points of the contest. They trail 6-2. 18:25 left to go here in the first half. Out on the left-hand side, Jefferson with the Knight basketball, gives to Brody out on the right-hand side. Now in the middle of the floor and around the perimeter they work. Jefferson on the left-hand side, tosses it in the middle, loose ball on the floor. Sanders with the drive, knocked out of play, and the ball is going to belong to Aiken Tech. 18:10 to play here in the first half.
Well, now they're going to give it to Danville. I thought they pointed toward Aiken.
They did originally, and now the officials will give it to the Jaguars. Sanders into the forecourt, out on the right-hand side. Works it down low to Petty. Petty looking inside, can't find anybody, brings it back up top. Sanders. Sanders off to the left-hand side, PACHIARZ. PACHIARZ down underneath Sowder, out top Sanders, fakes the 3, pulls up, shoots the 18-footer, missed it off the side of the rim, and the rebound by Aiken Tech. Brody down the right-hand side of the forecourt. He'll push it to the baseline. In the paint, he spins, lost the handle on the ball, and DACC will come out of the pile with it. Petty on the outlet to Sanders. Sanders across midcourt. Working toe-to-toe with Scott. Now feeds left-hand side PACHIARZ. In the middle of the floor they work. Petty down underneath. Gets it inside to Foster, and Foster's bucket is good. 6-4, the 2-point lead for Aiken Tech. In the paint they work. Outside it comes to Scott. Scott down low to Callahan, and he's going to be fouled by PACHIARZ. That was the foul you thought he would get earlier, Bob K. He picks it up here.
Yes, he did. They're reaching in from the blind side, coming in, backing down to help out on defense and reaching in.
Well, an NCAA final is in, Bob K, and I'm already out of the pool. USC has defeated Kentucky 80-76. On the inbound, the Knights come all the way out top near midcourt to Brody. Brody will work it back to the forecourt with a hop skip. He throws it up to the glass, won't go. Rebound scooped up on the floor by Foster in Danville area with the ball. Gives to Sanders, 17 minutes left to go here in the first half. Sanders on the roll to the left-hand side at the free throw line, kicks in the corner, 3 from PACHIARZ, and it's good. PACHIARZ with his 5th point in the ball game, and Danville area with a 1-point lead, 7-6. Out to the right-hand side, Aiken Tech with the ball, and Brody has it knocked out of his hands by Foster.
Scott, the last 3 or 4 times down the floor, the Aiken Knights have not protected the ball well at all. They've been very careless with the basketball.
Our onside executive producer, Angela Yost, with a funny look in her face. She finally saw the 4 guys in skirts in the corner. Here's a steal by Petty. Danville area works it into the lane, tosses it off to Sanders. Sanders will give it to PACHIARZ. He'll shoot the 3, and it's good. 8 points for PACHIARZ. Now having some trouble in the backcourt. Jefferson had no one to inbound the ball for Aiken Tech. He finally does to Callahan. Callahan up top, gives the ball back into the hands of Jefferson, and he travels. And Charles Welch is going to take a very wise 30-second timeout. 16:19 left to go here in the first half. 10-6, Danville area up by 4.
Well, Aiken got a little careless with the basketball. In fact, I'd say they got real careless, and I didn't keep track of their turnovers, but they've had 5 or 6 right here in a row, and very careless with the basketball. They're not even getting shots at the basket, and they started off quickly with those 2 3-pointers, and that makes you look good, but nobody else was in the play. Callahan was getting them both.
As we mentioned, a good crowd on hand here tonight, providing a championship atmosphere here in this national tournament. In fact, one of our corporate sponsors, Jim Meharry with Schick School and Office Supplies, sitting amongst the student body. We'll wait to see if tomorrow night, if Danville area wins, he paints his face green and gold.
I thought he was one of the students.
Out to the left-hand side, Sanders on the drive, and he's going to be pushed up top. And that foul is going to be on QB Scott. It'll be his first and the team's first. 16-10 left to play here in this first half. Danville area leads by 4, 10-6. PACHIARZ on the alley-oop, down low, Souder blocked from behind, and the rebound by the Knights of Aiken Tech. On the outlet, Brody will give to Jefferson. Jefferson down the right-hand side of the forecourt. Gives in the corner where the feed to Duke. Duke on the baseline, works it to Callahan, and he threw it past him and out of play.
Well, they continue to be careless with the basketball.
And that's what Charles Welch keeps talking to his team about, taking care of the leather down underneath the bucket. Out on the right-hand side, and a hand-checking call is going to be whistled against Ronaldo Norman. Well, at this stage of the game, especially for a team that's played once, Bob K., you can't argue much about hand-checking up top because they've said over and over and over that would be an emphasis in this tournament.
Right. And he was obviously doing it. His man had beat him, and Coach Welch was saying, work, 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 but he wasn't working.
PACHIARZ gives the ball to Souder. Souder all the way up top comes to Foster. Foster beyond the arc. Gets a pick by Souder and loses the handle. It's going to be picked off. Up the floor they feed. With the basketball down the floor, the Knights give to Duke, and the layup no good. But he's fouled, and he'll go to the line to shoot a couple.
Duke in last night's game demonstrated 3 or 4 times that he didn't have real good, strong hands, and that time he didn't finish the layup when he got fouled. Scott walking by us, Troy Collier, who was a Danville High athlete, played on one of Gene Garley's good basketball teams, played for Eastern in about 91 or 92 when they went to the NCAA tournament. Now he's coaching at Eastern, and I talked to him down in the hospitality room. He said he really likes coaching. He's finally catching on to the intricacies of recruiting, and someday he might like to look at a head coaching job somewhere.
First free throw by Duke was no good. The second one is. He's got his first point of the game, 10-7. Danville area with a 3-point lead in the basketball. Across the timeline, PACHIARZ works the Jaguars. Now to the left-hand side, gives to Sanders. Sanders out beyond the perimeter, in between the circles, heavily guarded, dumps to Foster. Foster at the free throw line, kicks to Petty. Petty with the fake, pulls into the paint, shoots, missed it, rebound, fought for inside. Coming away with it is Foster. Foster for Danville area, up top, Petty, right-hand side, Sanders to PACHIARZ. PACHIARZ out beyond the perimeter, dumps inside, almost batted away, was batted away, but last touch by Duke for the Knights, and it'll come back to Danville area underneath the Jaguar den with 15:08 left to go here in the first half. Well, both teams have weathered an early storm. First, the Knights jumped out to a 6-point lead, and then Danville area came back to take a 4-point lead. Now it's a Danville area 3-point advantage. And with the basketball, Petty will shoot one from 16, missed it, rebound, scooped up by the Knights. And up the floor comes Callahan, directing traffic to the left-hand side. Works it right, left, lost the handle on the ball. It's going to be scooped up by Sanders, one-on-one. Coast-to-coaster on the way, and he missed it. Tip, knocked down and picked up by Callahan, but last touched by Callahan as it goes out of bounds, and the ball will belong to Danville area.
And Aikens continues, that time out in front 40 feet from the basket, to be careless with the basketball. He was dribbling and tried to go between his legs, didn't have a prayer, lost the ball, and Danville really didn't get a steal. They just picked up the loose ball on the floor.
Well, it's been a long time since you've seen this many people at Danville Area Community College, Bob K. We've got a great crowd on hand.
Very, very good crowd. And still 2 big nights to go, Friday and Saturday.
Foster in the paint for Danville area with the ball, shoots it, missed it, rebound, fought for inside, loose on the floor, and coming out of the pile with it is going to be Crawford. Crawford inside to Foster, and Foster is fouled. That foul on Shannon Martin is his first, and it's the third against the Knights, led by Charles Welch.
Last night, Martin picked up 4 or 5 baskets down in underneath a little left-handed bank off the side, but tonight Danville sealed that off pretty well.
Danville area at the charity stripe, and missing the first one is Foster. He'll have another one. Second one is up and good. Foster with his 3rd point of the game. 11-7, the 4-point lead for Danville area. Knights basketball to the left-hand side. They give to Norman. Norman to Duke. He'll shoot the 3, and it's in and out, no good. Rebounding foul is going to be called over the back by Shannon Martin. Martin with his 2nd personal foul. It's the 4th against the Knights. And now checking back into the lineup will be Callahan in place of Martin. Danville area in the backcourt. PACHIARZ on the inbound. Gives to Foster. Foster in the backcourt. Works his way across the midcourt stripe to the left-hand side. Going toe-to-toe with Norman. Looking down low, bounces to PACHIARZ. PACHIARZ brings it up top, feeds in the middle of the floor. Crawford will shoot from 18, off the glass, too hard. Rebound by the Knights. Duke with the board on the outlet, gives it to the right-hand side. Pushing it up the floor is Woods. Woods, beautiful bounce pass down underneath, but they missed the layup. Callahan couldn't complete the play. Danville area up the floor in a hurry. PACHIARZ in the paint, drive, scoop shot, no good, but he's fouled, and he's going to the line to shoot a couple.
You have to stop and wonder how you make two 30-footers for the first 2 3-pointers and then miss a layup.
13:52 left to go here in this first half. 11-7, the 4-point Danville area lead. That foul on Duke was his first. The 5th against the Knights, and the first free throw is up and good for PACHIARZ. He's got 9 points. Sherman Foster, the other Danville area scorer, he's got 3. 12-7, the 5-point lead for the green and gold Jaguars. Next one on the way is up, and it is good. 10 points for PACHIARZ. Quickly into double figures is he. Well, the Knights, who jumped out to a nice run, Bob Kay, now find themselves down by 6.
Yeah, they had a 6-0 lead, so it's been a 13-1 run for the Jaguars.
Here's a shot from the top of the key. Callahan won't go. Rebound fought for underneath, and the Jaguars are going to come out of the pile with it. Crawford gives the ball left-hand side. Up the floor they work. Sanders down to the right side. They go from AKERS to Sanders, top of the key. DURRET pulls up, takes the shot, missed it. Rebound fought for, tapped out of play, and it belongs to Danville area. I thought for sure the Jaguars were the last to touch it, but they're going to give it to the Jaguars underneath.
Ooh.
Charles Welch can't believe the call, and they're going to steal it away off the inbound. Woods with the basketball into the forecourt, and he'll take it off to the left-hand side. Feeds it in the middle with the drive. Callahan kicks in the corner, and we've got a foul. Nope, they're going to call the travel.
And then the official, after he made that call, which I thought was very obvious, a block knocked out of bounds by the Jaguars, he asked the coach from Aiken, do you agree with that? Kind of baiting him, I think.
After the turnover by Aiken Tech, Danville area has the ball in the backcourt. Sanders to the left-hand side, works it into the forecourt to LESKO. LESKO with the shot in the paint, in and out. Will it roll through? It does. LESKO gets it to drop after it touched the backboard and every part of the rim. 15-7, the 8-point Danville area lead, and they're going to steal it away from the Knights. With the pick, it's Crawford, and Crawford will give the ball to DURRET. DURRET into the forecourt to the right-hand side, Sanders. Sanders above the arc, gives to DURRET. DURRET on the bounce pass down low, works to AKERS. AKERS on the fadeaway, partially blocked in the rebound by Aiken Tech. Duke with the ball in the backcourt, gives it on the outlet to Woods. Woods across the timeline into the forecourt. Callahan shoots the 3-ball, well off the mark, and the rebound by DURRET. 12:25 left to go here in the first half, and the DACC student body begins the air ball chant. Out to the left-hand side, DURRET. He'll give it to LESKO. LESKO now looking around, has the shot blocked. Rebound, scooped up by LESKO. Quick feed inside for AKERS, and AKERS didn't know it was coming. Finally bats it down and picks it up and gives up top to Sanders. Sanders kicks it out to the right-hand side. DURRET from 3. Off the back iron, and it won't go, and we've got a rebounding foul, and this is going to be over the back on Ryan LESKO. Rather, Richard LESKO, and that's his first personal foul.
Well, Callahan, the last 2 dimes down the floor, fired up a 3-pointer, and the first one was about 1.5 feet short. The second one was about 1.5 feet long. Both air balls. He better fire one more because he's shooting for, in the Army they call that shooting for effect. You missed long and you missed short, then you fired the third one, should be right in the middle.
Woods with the ball for Aiken Tech, feeds it inside. It's batted away, but right there to scoop it up is Norman. Norman out beyond the arc, dumps it down low to Callahan. Callahan on the feed, inside layup on the way, and it's good by Derek Brody. He's got his first 2. 15-9, Danville area with the lead in the ball. 11:30 left to go here in the first half, and the ball is knocked out of play on a nice defensive effort by Marshall Jenkins.
Scott, I always wondered in the Army when you fired the first one short and the second one long and the third one was supposed to be right in the middle, what the enemy was doing standing there letting you shoot 3 times. I always wondered That guy ain't gonna be there when I get that third shot.
If
But
they are, they deserve the third shot.
I never had the nerve to ask a sergeant about that, though.
Well, I wish you would have. I wanted to know the answer.
No.
LESKO with the ball on the right-hand side for Danville area. Gives to PACHIARZ up top. PACHIARZ off to the left-hand side. Works to DURRET. DURRET's going to drive it in the paint. Throws it up. Missed it short. Rebound fought for inside. Scooped up by Woods for the Knights. Aiken Tech will push. Woods is going to go coast to coast. The shot is blocked off the glass. Rebound by Brody. Brody on the floor is going to be fouled. And that foul, well, it's not going to be a foul. I thought it was a foul on AKERS coming up over the back, and instead they're just going to say AKERS touched the ball last before it went out of bounds. On the inbound to Woods. Woods up top and around the perimeter. They'll give the ball to Jenkins from three, and it's good. Marshall Jenkins with the three.
His first 3 points, he's the guy from Due West, South Carolina.
Out to the right side. That's about where he shot it from.
Yeah.
AKERS left side, PACHIARZ. PACHIARZ dribbles to the top of the key, rolls right-hand side. DURRET holds the ball out. Jenkins cuts him off, and now a foul is going to be called on Jenkins. He does a couple of jumping jacks.
Well, I think Jenkins thought he'd played good defense, and he didn't use his hands, he didn't reach in, and he didn't hand check. But boy, he was sure using his body to push out on. Well,
Substitutions now for both coaches.
We could throw the inbounds pass. I could reach right out and touch PACHIARZ right now. We'd think they'd let us throw it inbounds, and the ACC could have an extra guy inbounds. Of course, I'm not sure I could pass that straight.
I was going to say, knowing our luck, you'd throw it away. Here's PACHIARZ in the corner. The shot no good. The rebound underneath. And the foul is going to be called as Crawford tried to go back up with it. This foul by Brody. It'll be his first.
You mean 6-on-5, and I might still hit a white shirt with the ball, huh?
I know I could.
Yeah.
Jim McCarthy in the house, one of the many here at the Mary Miller Complex at Danville Area Community College.
Jim was on our Burger Chef show before the game, and that's always a fun Thursday night to be on with him.
You mean Burger King?
Burger King. Did I say Burger Chef? Burger King. What is Burger Chef still in existence?
Well, I think they are.
Oh my.
First free throw off the front of the rim, no good for Crawford. Next one on the way is up, and it's good. Crawford with his first point of the game. 16-12, Danville area with the lead. Out to the right-hand side, Knights with the basketball. They have it beyond the arc. Norman will fire the three, missed it off the front of the rim, and the rebound scooped up by DURRET, and Danville area has it. Pushing it across the midcourt stripe to the right-hand side. Heavily guarded by Scott. He'll stop and now feeds top of the key. Souder, left-hand side, PACHIARZ. PACHIARZ dribbles in between the rounds, now looking around, traveled.
Scott, I really think Burger Chef is out of business. I think they folded up, and I think there was some kind of a suit that all the people that still use their names and signs had to sell them or get rid of them.
Well, I guess I ought to buy a paper and move to town.
That's what Max Schaefer used to tell me about every other day.
10:08 to go here in the first half. 16-12, Danville area with the lead, and a 30-second timeout on the floor.
Scott, we never did look at the end of that first game, and real quickly, there were some interesting stats in that. Remember at halftime, it was a 10 turnover game, 5 for each team. Well, it ended up a 31 turnover game, 18 for Kirkwood and 13 for Johnson County. The rebounds, Kirkwood was the losing team and out-rebounded Johnson County 39-32. The shooting, in fact, it was a 16 for 59 for Kirkwood, 5 out of 29 at the three-point. Can you imagine? 29 three-pointers and only make 5. Wow. 8 out of 8 at the foul line. 23 for 45 for the winners, 9 out of 16 three-pointers, and 10 out of 18 from the three-point line.
Aiken Tech throws the ball away, but fortunately it was touched by Danville area before it heads out of play, and the Knights are going to get it underneath their own castle right at the 10-minute mark of the first half.
The Knights get a castle, and the Cavaliers get a
They
fort?
got a fort. That's correct. Out to the left-hand side. With the ball, they work to Brody. Brody in the paint for Aiken Tech, and he's going to be fouled going up. That foul is going to be on Petty, and he's got his first personal foul. That's the 5th against Danville area. To the line will be QB Scott. He's got 3 points. Brody with 2, Jenkins with 2, Callahan with 3, and Duke with 1. The first one is up and good. Scott with 4 points.
Well, Scott, it was a 13-7 lead. Danville has scored 3. They've been outscored 6-3 since that point. They almost had the score doubled on Aiken, and now Aiken's crept back within 3 points.
Next one on the way for Scott. This one is up, and it is good. Scott with his 5th point of the game. 16-14, the lead by Danville area. They've got the ball. Foster will push it up the floor. Wide open, Petty, one-handed reverse. He missed it. Gets his own rebound, put back good. Petty with his first 2 points. Back to a 4-point Danville area lead, and the Knights with the ball. Scott on the baseline, drives, shoots, missed it. He's called for the charge. QB Scott with his 2nd personal foul. That's the 8th. 9:35 to play here in this first half.
That has got to be, and they say it is, the hardest call in basketball to make. Boy, it's impossible to see it. Those defensive men get set.
Danville area to the left-hand side. Brings the ball up the floor. They give to Sanders. Sanders to Petty. Petty off to the left side, Sanders. Sanders looking down low. Can't find anybody. Dribbles himself. Pulls up, shoots. It's no good. Rebound. Foster, put back good. Foster with 5. 20-14, the lead by Danville area, up by 6. Across the top, Aiken Tech with the ball. Duke gives it to Norman, to Jenkins. Jenkins in the middle of the floor, left-hand side, Duke. Duke's gonna take it into the paint. The ball's knocked loose, and the rebound by Danville. Up the floor, they throw it into the hands of Aiken Tech, and with the steal, Norman. Norman's gonna push it up the floor, feeds into the corner. Duke will shoot the 3, and it is no good. Off the side of the rim, and the rebound by Danville area. Petty with the ball.
Ronaldo Norman may be a defensive back. He made a great interception right here.
Sanders will take it into the paint for Danville area. Lost the handle on the ball, and there's going to be a foul. And that'll send Danville area to the line. This foul's courtesy of Marshall Jenkins. It'll be his 2nd.
I'm not sure that was a foul. I thought the Danville player lost control as he drove down the lane. The ball rolled out of his hand. But he's going to shoot free throws.
As the great Max Schaefer once told you, Bob K., look in the scorebook tomorrow morning and see what it says.
We used to go to ball games, and I'd say, that wasn't a hit, that was an error. And he'd say, look at the score, look at the paper tomorrow, look at the box score.
Sanders knocks down his first free throw. That's his first point of the game. PACHIARZ with 10, Foster with 5, Crawford with 1, LESKO with 2, and Petty with 2.
You know, he was always right.
2nd free throw on the way, and it's good as well. Sanders with a couple. 22-14, that's the largest lead of the night for Danville area, and it comes across the top for the Knights of Aiken Tech. To Duke. Duke out beyond the arc. Duke looking down low, feeds it inside. A battle for the basketball as Brody kicks back to Duke. Outside it comes, a 3 on the way by Woods, and it's off the back of the rim, and it won't go on. PACHIARZ has the rebound for Danville area. 8:15 left to go in the first half. 22-14, the lead by Danville area. Out on the left-hand side, Sanders working hard against Jenkins. Jenkins with a bounce, or rather, Sanders with a bounce pass down low. It's kicked away, and Danville area is going to get the ball back underneath their own. Couple of more substitutions for both coaches, and both are utilizing their bench well here tonight, Bob K.
Yes, they are, and they're giving them breathers, and this is just the first game for DACC, the second one for Aikens, and they've still got 2 more to go, so they're giving them a lot of breathers.
Sanders underneath the Jaguar den, feeds it all the way up top to Foster. Foster with the feed, down low, Souder wide open, and he got the layup. Souder with his first 2, 24-14, the first double-digit lead of the night. Danville area holds it, and now Callahan with the ball for the Knights. They try to rectify. Upstairs, they work, and around the perimeter they come. To Woods out on the left-hand side. Woods up top, Duke. He'll shoot the trifecta, and it is no good. And the rebound by Danville area. On the feed, they work to Sanders. Sanders across the timeline, works it into the forecourt. Gets the pick by Petty. Rolls to the left-hand side. Jefferson is still on him. Now to Souder. Souder looking around the perimeter, brings it back up top. Sanders in the middle. Foster drives to the right, kicks to PACHIARZ, underneath to Souder. Souder on the baseline. Gives in the middle to Petty. Petty in the paint, fights for some room, misses the shot, rebound on the floor. and it's going to be scooped up by the Knights. Callahan with the ball. Looking for somebody to give it to, and he finds his teammate Woods. On the outlet, Jefferson, right-hand side, Norman. Norman down on the baseline, on the cross-court, Woods. He eyes up the three, won't take it, feeds in the middle. Callahan with the drive, tosses it up, off the glass, won't go, and the rebound by Souder for Danville area.
Boy, Danville's controlling that defensive rebounding area right now. It's one shot and out for Aiken.
6:45 to go here in the first half. Sanders with the ball for Danville area, gives in the middle of the floor, where they work the ball to Petty. Petty to Sanders, bounce pass down low.